Hello, welcome to Take Your Time. This is Somejit Das. In this particular video, we will discuss how you can build flows. What are the builders available in in making the setup of flow, and also I will show you how you can create flow chains. And this is the fourth video of the flow series. So if you have not yet watched the previous videos, I would recommend you to go and watch them before starting this one. Let's just get started then. So the first thing that we'll see over here, that here flow of 1 2 3 4 5, here list dot as flow, here there is a lambda that I have passed inside this flow block, here the same thing I have done inside this channel flow block. So we'll dive deep into all of these four type of flow builders. So this basically, the first one is flow of 1 2 3 4 5 that you see. So basically flow of is none other than a function that is given by Kotlin flow, coroutines flow, and it returns flow of a generic type. And if you see, what we have done here is it takes a vararg, elements. And so basically whenever you need a fixed flow, fixed flow in the sense the elements has to be fixed and you will be passing that at the first time and you don't want them to change forever, then you can use this kind of flow of function to generate a flow out of those. Okay, now the second one is set up flow from a collection. So here what happens is, any collection that you have, this list is a collection, right, that you see, list of 1 2 3 4 5 that I have just created for the sake of this. And as soon as I pass this list dot as flow, what I mean to say is, as soon as you call this as flow function on this particular list, what happens is this will take a iterable. If you see into this particular function definition, it takes an iterable and creates a flow out of it and gives it back to you. So the same thing is happening, list dot as flow, that means that 1 2 3 4 5 that has been used to create this list has been used to generate a flow out of them. Okay, now in everything that you see, that I have passed a delay, because I just want you to see, whenever I will run this app, you will see that okay, there is a delay, and after that every item is getting emitted out of that flow. Okay, the third one is, whatever I pass inside this block, in this flow block as a lambda, that will be used by this block, and the flow block will create a flow out of it and it will give it back to you. Now basically, if you see that it takes a flow collector implementation inside. So if you do not have an idea about what is flow collector, you can check the second video of this series where I have described everything in detail regarding the flow collector as well as the flow. Basically, so there are two different interfaces and how do they communicate in between each other. So that is something I have discussed over there. Please make sure that you check out that particular video. And now the final one is the same thing, that channel flow, and inside that I am passing this particular block of statement. This particular statement is in a block, channel flow block, and that is giving us a channel flow out of that one. Now what is the difference between channel flow and flow? Basically, channel flow is also works in a cold manner, but the basic difference is it uses a channel to communicate to the collector. That's it. And now if you see that in the flow I have written this particular line, emit, that will be so this is what this particular statement, what it says is, okay, now after this you will be emitting one single item out of this flow to the collector. And the same goes for here in the send. The work is same, just because it uses a channel, it has to send the items to a channel with to which the collector will communicate. So that's it. Let's just run the app and see how things are. Okay, let me just do one thing for you. 1 second. Yeah, that will work. And let me just put it bit higher. Yeah, so let's just first the fixed flow as in this one. But one more thing guys, that I have to show you. 1 second. Yeah, so these setups are there, but I have already told you guys in the last videos that flow will not start to work. So these are all you have seen, these are the definitions of flow, and I have already told that flow will never start the definition before you give the call to the collect function for those, right? So that's what on the click of these buttons, what I have done is collect fixed flow, collect collection flow, collect lambda flow, and collect channel flow. These are 4 different buttons from this one to 4th one, and we are giving the collect call to those. And as soon as we give the collect call, we get the callback to the definition of the flow, and from there emission of those flows are happening, and in the collect block we are just printing those. That's what it is happening. And collect, you have to remember one thing, collect is a suspend function, so you have to put it in a coroutine scope. That's what I have done here. Okay, so if again I have to go through what is happening on the click of this fixed, this collect fixed flow will have a call, and here fixed flow dot collect, once we give this call, fixed flow will start to generate the flow. What is the fixed flow? This is the fixed flow definition. This will get called, and as soon as this will get called, from here the emission will happen, and we'll have the will be printing one after another in this block. So the same goes for this one, same goes for this one, and the same goes for this one. Just for this lambda flow we have to give the call specifically to emit, and the same goes for here setup channel flow, we have to give the call to specifically to send. Now let's just run the app and click one after another. So I'll just first run the launch fixed flow. If you see that 1 2 3 4 5 that has been collected, so basically launch fixed flow will give the call to collect fixed flow, and here we are just printing all these values. Okay, so now let's just give the call to launch flow from collection. The same thing is, I think the basically collection is also having the same list, right? I think it is 1 2 3 4 5 this list. Yeah, so 1 2 3 4 5, that's what it is printing. Okay, now we'll just see the lambda one. Okay, this will also print 1 2 5. Okay, so let's just click on this. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 that has been printed. So everything is working as expected. So this delay is what you are seeing. After one emission there is a delay to emit the second one. So basically what we can see is what we can think of this delay as a network operation or some sort of asynchronous operation. That's a mock of this. So basically we'll be, whenever we'll deal with flow, right, later on we have to deal with some sort of asynchronous operations or something like that. So you can treat this delay as those or as a mocking of those operations. Okay, now the fourth one, launch channel flow. So everything is working as expected. So as of now what we have discussed is there are 4 different ways you can create flows, and what are the what are the use cases for each of those. Now, but the final one that I will show in this one, if you see that launch flow chain is there, and I should have okay, I have not created this one yet, but basically what we will be creating over here is a chain of flow. Mostly the way you will deal with flows, that I will show you how you can create a chain of flows. Chain of flow as in, if you are coming from a RX background, you will be it will be easier for you to associate with that one, because it's kind of like the RX chain that you have built previously. Okay, so I'll just see this. Okay, launch flow chain. Okay, so flow chain is something that we will be using, and here I'll just have a set on click listener, and we'll just give a create flow chain. We'll just write it that way, and we'll create this function. Okay, so now what are the things we need? So in order to create a flow chain, what we'll be using is a flow block. So for that one I'll be just using this, and we have to pass the implementation of flow collector, right? So what I will do, I'll just do like this, and for each we'll just have some operations. Okay, so what are the operations? Maybe we'll just put a delay, let's suppose 300 millisecond delay, and we'll just emit each item at once. Okay, now you see that the red error that was there, that is gone now, because we have given a complete flow collector implementation which has a call to emit method. That's why the red errors have gone. Now what we do with this flow, we have to collect it somewhere, right? So so we have to give a call to this collect, right? So we are giving, as soon as we give this call to this collect block, we know that the flow that has been generated from here, that will be collected here. So what we do, we'll just log the items that are coming. Okay, so if I write it like this, log.i and tag, and let's suppose I am just printing one after another. Okay, now you notice that there is a red error that is showing. What it is saying, that suspend function collect should be collect only from a coroutine or another suspend function. So that does mean that collect is a suspend function, and as soon as you give to this particular method, you have to put this whole thing in a separate coroutine, or you have to only call it from a suspend function. That's why if you see that all the collect blocks that I have written as of now, that I have put it in a separate coroutine scope. Now for this one, what I will do is, I'll just create this method. I will just make this method as a suspend method. Now what we have just done is, we have propagated this error to the method, to the place where the method is getting called, because the suspend function, if you see this place, suspend function should only be called from a coroutine or another suspend function. So what we do here now is, we have to make sure that this particular call is getting called from a coroutine scope or another suspend function. Now from where we are calling this, we are calling this from onCreate, and there is no way we can make onCreate a suspend function, right? So what we have to do, we have to create a coroutine scope inside this set on click listener, and we have to give the call to create flowchain from that coroutine scope, right? So what I just do now, there are two ways you can do it, right? One is, what do? You can make it a run blocking block. This will give you obviously a coroutine scope, and you put it here, right? Everything is fine. And another way is, you can create a coroutine scope, and you can pass a dispatcher. Let's say I am passing dispatcher's main, and I am using launch here, and you are passing this create flowchain. Now one more thing guys, before jumping to all of this, I would like to say, if you are not familiar with coroutine, I think it will be difficult for you to understand what is happening here. And as I am discussing flows, I am the prerequisite of flow is coroutines, right? So I believe that all you guys are having enough knowledge about coroutines. Now if you don't have enough knowledge about coroutine, please do write me, please do put some comment, so that I will think that okay, I need to also create a playlist out of coroutine. Okay, now now again coming to this, there are two ways I can create a coroutine scope, and also we can use global scope, but that is something I normally avoid. Global, now run blocking and coroutine scope. So there are two ways, but what is the difference between these two? So to dive deep into the difference, I will just keep it like this, and I will run each and every, I will run it in both way and see the difference. Okay, so first let me just run this in the coroutine scope, right? Let me just see flow chain set on click listener, and we are creating this. Okay, so we'll just give a call to this, and it should be printed, right? So let me just run. So it's getting installed. Yeah, installation done. So let me just run it. So if you see, all these items are getting collected, right? Coroutine scope, and we have created a flow chain, and all these items are getting collected. Now what if so we know that this is running in a different coroutine scope, right? And this should not block other other threads from operating, right? So what happens is, as soon as I give call to this flow chain, launch flow chain, if I give call to another flow, let's say launch channel flow, if I give call, it should work together, right? So these two should be working in different coroutines, and one should not block another one, and we can test it, right? So launch flow chain, I am giving call, and now I am giving call to launch channel flow. If you see here, okay, so what we can do, just to separate these two out from chain, I'll just write it like this, okay? So I can run it. Okay, so launch flow chain and launch channel flow together. So if you see, from chain was started, and at together the launch channel flow has also started emitting, because they are working in two different coroutine scopes, so there is no one blocking each other, right? But if I run with run blocking instead of this one, let's see what happens. Even though it is giving a coroutine scope, but the name suggests that it is blocking the current run. So what happens is, if the current flow is running, which is running in the run blocking scope, it will block the it will block a different flow, or different it will block the control for the same time if the control wants to operate on some other flow or some other thing. So if I run together two at once with having run blocking, what will happen? If the run blocking has been started at first, run blocking will end, and then only the next one will start. So if I just again run it, we'll see what happens. Yeah, so now we'll just give a launch flow chain which is in run blocking state, and again we'll give a call to launch channel flow, and launch channel flow will start only after run blocking create flow chain is completed. So I have started this launch flow chain, okay, and I am running launch channel flow. So if you see, this channel flow has only started after this launch flow chain has been completed. Okay, now one more thing that I would like to cover in this particular video. So we'll just get rid of this run blocking statement now, and we'll keep it like this. One thing is, here the flow definition, right? Here we have told that this particular is the mock of API calls or asynchronous operations, right? And you might want this to work in a separate coroutine, separate thread or something like that. So in that case, you have basically the people who are coming from coroutine background, they might understand. We can do this. We can have a with context block, and and we can pass a dispatcher that's according to our wish. And what we can do, we can write this over there, right? That's a way for us to change the dispatchers in the coroutine. But there is a problem in this. I have already discussed in my previous videos that there are few fundamental things that are related to flow, right? And one of them is context preservation. What is context preservation, by the way? So context preservation says that no matter which context has been used for the definition of flow, the collector will only work in the context of the collector itself. So even if we use dispatchers IO to create the flow, if the collector has been called from a coroutine scope which is used by dispatchers main, the items after getting emitted from dispatcher IO coroutine scope, they will only get collected in dispatcher's main coroutine scope, because collector is associated with that. Now if we use with context, this context preservation will not work, because it is violating the context preservation policy. And only way you can emit items, or you can create flow, you can work on the flow definition in a separate coroutine scope, is by using flow on method. And here if you see dispatchers.io, if you pass, and let's suppose if we just log this thing, log the threads, then we'll understand what is happening. Okay, so if I have a log here, and if I have a log here, in collect, and what I will do here is like this. Okay, so this is in collect block, and this should be in definition block, right? So we'll see that collect will work in dispatcher main, and this will work in dispatcher IO. Why? Because flow on will it will ensure that collect will only work in that coroutine scope in which collect has been called, and that is what context preservation is. There is no way you can leak coroutine scopes from upstream to downstream if you are using flow on, and you can operate your flow definition in your chosen coroutine scope. So if I just launch the flow chain right now, you will be able to see the difference, and you will be able to understand the context preservation. So if I just run the launch flow chain now, okay, I think it's done. If you see, in definition dispatchers worker 1, in collect main, and from chain 0 has been emitted. When from chain 1 is emitted, in collect main, in definition dispatcher worker 1. So if you see that in the definition part there is a different coroutine, but in the collect block there is always main. So this is the context preservation. So even if you are passing a different dispatcher to create a coroutine scope to define the flow, collect will only work in the coroutine scope in which collect has been called. So I think that's it for this particular video, where we have discussed all the ways you can create flows, and the context preservation also, and we have seen how you can create flow chains. So maybe in the next video we'll talk about different operators available in flow, and from then onwards we'll maybe dive into retrofit and room databases and all those stuffs by using flow. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit on the bell icon so that you can never miss an update, and I'll be keeping you posted. I'll be putting new videos maybe every week from now on. Thank you. Have a great time. Bye. See you.